It got more noticeable later into high school. Whenever we brought up employment, and if I didn't give an answer he thought fit me, he would try and steer me to another choice, and I'm kind of like, this doesn't feel right. Like this doesn't feel fair.
I think the individuals we support are sheltered away from the possibility of being successful as adults. So therefore, once they see how well they're valued and they can excel at their positions, it gives them so much hope and broadens their horizons for goals and dreams, and they realize their potential and they actually start working towards it. And without that opportunity, they don't get that.
We know that Canadians with an intellectual or developmental disability are 2.5 times more likely to be unemployed than the average Canadian. And we also know that over 40% of people considered to be living in poverty in Canada are people with disabilities.
Any business that's not open to inclusive hiring is selling themselves and their business short.
When I first started working here, it was really nerve-wracking. With people who have intellectual disabilities, I may sound biased, but frequently there's a communication component with intellectual disabilities, and you can see how that can quickly cause problems in a lot of employment fields, because communication is critical.
Well, certainly there's the unknown. I mean, you're always looking to set somebody up for success, and you're always looking to capitalize on someone's strengths. I mean, if you're always focusing on their weaknesses, you're chasing it.
Like, I'm no exception. I take my processing speed slower than the average Joe Blow. It takes me a while to learn things, and I'm a very, very visual learner.
But if you recognize what someone's really good at it, and then you put them in a situation or a position or a department or a role in the store that takes advantage of that, they grow as a person, but then we also benefit as a company and as a store.
If someone's willing to take the chance to be patient, to take the time and the patience to work with me and learn the things, then I thrive.
Finding and keeping a job for somebody who has been historically excluded from employment can be a really difficult and long process. But it's really important to remember that once that goal is accomplished, it's then time to think about what's next and continually kind of build on those successes.
So some of the other jobs, which were great for her to have, but they were in settings that were not very social. She didn't have, kind of connection and access to other people, and she wasn't building relationships. She'd just go in and, do her work in a back room kind of thing. And she loved making the money, and it made her feel good to do it, but it wasn't very emotionally or socially satisfying for her.
Why were you excited to get a job?
I was excited because why was I excited? Oh yeah, money.
For people that are supporting folks with jobs or offering jobs to people with disabilities, I think it's really important that we remember that there's a difference between work and meaningful work. That once someone arrives in a position, that growth doesn't end there.
My biggest concern with Andrea was I felt that she had more potential than just coming in and wiping down tables. And I had a conversation separate from her team at Community Living, and it was how can we kind of bring more purpose to her role here, and eventually maybe moving into maybe something with a little bit more purpose and a little bit more scope.
The coworkers are so fun to hang out with. I could live there if I have to.
I think people without disabilities often forget or take for granted how much of a normal rhythm comes with having kind of meaningful employment, how that affects their relationships, the way that they kind of move through the world, and the rhythms of their day, of their life.
When you first started working at Cal Tire, did you notice that people treated you differently because you had a disability?
No, not at all. It was very inclusive, like one of the boys.
There is no greater satisfaction than to see him come in here and they're giving him a hard time, teasing him, and he's teasing them back. And just knowing that he is accepted for who he is.
Having meaningful employment shows us that people outside of our immediate circle of support value us, they trust us with responsibility, and they value what we bring to the table.
With Ty being at this workplace, it's changed the morale of the team. It's helped not just my own biases, but the whole team. Ty is not just an employee here, he's part of the team here. And even our whole team almost feels more of like our core team is more like a family. And everyone looks out for Ty, like even after hours, people will see him and have a conversation and ask him if he needs a ride or what is he up to or anything like that. Like it's changed the atmosphere in the company here for sure.
If you have a spot that you think needs filling, that you should just hire them and see where that takes your life, because it will change your life. It changed mine.